welcome to my channel. I'm Joanne. If you're new here, I make healthy lifestyle content, everything fitness, what I eat in a day, and meal ideas. I also like to try out recipes, so if you're into that, please subscribe. So I want to start my meal prep. It's 7:43. I know, 7:43 p.m. I just came from the gym and I don't have any other day to do this meal prep. I also have a leeway tomorrow because I don't have to go to the office very early. So I'm going to compromise, sleep late, possibly. I probably won't even sleep late. I feel like I can do this meal prep and be ready for bed by 11. So that's what we're going to do. What's on the menu? I want to try the Romaine Chef chicken curry, and then lentils and some purple cabbage. Yeah, and that's it. I was also supposed to make naan bread, but I don't think I'm going to do that today. I'm just going to have to compromise and eat chapatis instead. I actually already bought a chapati for today. If I have time tomorrow or during the week, I'll make chapatis. Sorry, I'll make naan bread. For now, let's go to the kitchen and get started. I hope I'm done by 9:30. Let's see how long this takes. So we'll start with cutting the chicken into bite-sized pieces and marinating it. I knew I wasn't serious before starting this recipe, but at this point it was confirmed. I didn't have all the spices the Romaine Chef used, so I made do with what I had. Please don't be like me and follow the recipe. I don't have a pestle and mortar, so I grated my garlic and ginger and then minced it further with a knife. Something I should consider buying for someone who cooks so much, but I'm going to plan on buying this thing. I really am. For the spices, I used curry powder, paprika, onion powder, black pepper, garlic powder, salt to taste. Then the additional marinade ingredients are plain yogurt and lemon juice. I use the juice of half a lemon. Make sure you remove the seeds if you do it like me. We are then going to add our minced garlic and ginger, and then we are going to mix everything together so well so that every piece of the chicken is coated in the marinade. Once that is done, we set it aside, and then we're going to start on the rest of the ingredients. The rest of the things we are cooking. I prefer to start with chopping the ingredients. So here I'm chopping the ingredients for the cabbage and the stew. I chopped 1 onion for the stew and 1 for the cabbage. The stew needs garlic, ginger, so we'll repeat the whole process again. More reason for me to buy that pestle and mortar thing. But also, I saw Miss Wiro blending her tomatoes, garlic and ginger, so I might try that. It actually looks so much easier than this whole process I'm doing here. Kwanza, given I have to repeat this whole process again for the chicken, yani, it would have just been easier for me to blend. So this is something that's going to be very helpful for me next time. So at this point, we are going to add the garlic and ginger and onion for the stew on the stove to let it start cooking. And as it's cooking, we start chopping our cabbage because here we are multitasking. Then now once that kitunguu and the ginger garlic are cooked, we're going to add the tomatoes for the stew, and then we're going to add our spices. So for this one I used the same spices: paprika, onion powder, salt, black pepper. You can add whatever spices that you like, and then we're going to let it cook and go back to the cabbage and finish chopping it. By the time I was done chopping the cabbage, the tomato was cooked properly, and now we can add our lentils. Then we are going to add some water. If you like, you can add Royco cube, but I'm not a fan of Royco, so that's all I do. Add water, and then we are going to let it boil. As you can see at the back there, the kitunguu for the cabbage is already cooking. So now let's switch to the cabbage. We're going to add it to the kitunguu. Add some salt and then I'm going to leave it there for it to cook a bit. So a lot of recipes say that this cabbage takes long to cook, but it really doesn't, or for me it hasn't been the case. So I'm going to leave it there to cook, and then clearly you can see these lentils haven't taken long to boil, so I just add dania and then cover them, and it's ready, like zima the moto. Then now for this cabbage, I see people adding vinegar and honey, so that's the same recipe I'm doing, and it turns out very nice. So I did 2 tablespoons of vinegar and 1.5 tablespoon of honey, and then left it to cook. So at this point, both the lentils and the cabbage are ready, so now we can start on the chicken and the rice. So you're going to add a bit of oil to the pot where we are going to put the chicken, and the goal is then add your chicken, and the goal is to brown every side. So once the chicken is browned, it's ready. And then the rice, just use rice how you normally cook it, or according to the package description. Because I was in a hurry, you can see I started cooking chicken on 2 different stoves of the gas, because I just wanted to finish quickly, and cooking every piece of chicken on 1 piece of pot was going to take so much time, so that's why I did that. And then now as the chicken is cooking and the rice is cooking, let's prep the ingredients once again. I don't know why this recipe calls for 2 batches of ginger and garlic, but anyway, that's what I did. Chopped up the onions and the garlic, added them to the pot, and started cooking. At this point, you can see the rice is ready. So once the onions ready, I added my ginger and garlic, and then I added my tomatoes, and then I had to add spices once again. So I added the same spices: paprika, paprika, turmeric, and curry powder. I added the turmeric because I wanted the meat to be colorful. And then we're going to let the nyanyas cook. Once they are cooked, I added water. You're also supposed to add cashew nuts at this point, but I didn't have any. I only had peanuts, and I didn't think they were going to go with this recipe, so I didn't add them. So we are going to let the water boil. Just make sure to taste and see whether the sauce is tasty. Once it's boiled, we are going to add it to a blender. So obviously you're not supposed to use your blender with hot things, but I didn't have time to wait for it to cool down, so I just waited just kidogo, and then I added it to a blender and blended it. I was a bit scared of blending it for long, so if you have a hand blender, even better. I hear if you use hot things in a blender, they can explode, so I just made it smooth enough for the sauce. Anyway, then now we can add back the chicken. At this point, this sauce is so thick, so I had to add water to just make it loose a bit. After that, I'm just going to let it simmer, and it's done. So my chicken didn't use butter, so I'm not sure we are still supposed to call this butter chicken, but anyway, if you want the actual recipe, check the Romain chef page. He's actually pinned it as the first item on his IG and TikTok. Now let's portion out the meals. So as you can see, clearly I cooked too much lentils, but that's okay. That just means I have way more food. So I'll pack the lentils with the red cabbage. Another thing, I cooked too much cabbage, but I'm not complaining. So I actually had to add the remaining cabbage to the chicken. So I try to make my meals as balanced as possible, having my carbs, my protein, and my veggies. I don't usually pack the rice in this container. I'll just pack the rice on its own in another container. And then if you noticed in my what I eat in a day videos, you'll see I have my fruits as a snack, and that's usually at 5:30 p.m. And then at this point, I added my chicken. I know it's not yet cooled down, but the reason I'm doing this is so that I can leave it in the containers to cool as I go shower and prepare for bed. If I had more time, I would have just left them in the sufuria and then I would have packaged them after cooling, but nah, I didn't have time at this point and I was so tired. So there we have it. I have all the meals I need for the week. Done with my meal prep. It's 10:26. I've showered, but I haven't eaten yet, so that's what I want to do. I just had to do this meal prep because I know if I don't, I'm just going to eat any junk that I'm just going to eat any junk food that comes my way, or I'm not just going to hit like my protein goals and I'm trying to gain or build muscle. So I really had to do this meal prep and I'm glad I did it. Now I know I have meals for from today night to probably Friday night. So I'm sorted for the whole week. And I know I'm going to eat healthy. So I didn't meal prep any breakfast because my plan is I'm just going to eat bread and then I'm going to alternate that with pancakes. Pancakes are easy to make, so I can do that in the morning, whichever day I decide. Actually, I want to alternate bread and then bread and eggs and then pancakes and probably yogurt and fruit or chia seed pudding. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for coming to my channel. Subscribe, like, subscribe, and then I'll see you next time. Bye.